than what Avant would have. So take that for what you will. In terms of just momentum going into it, obviously 5Power can feel good about winning Mirage. It's just a matter of how they went about it. They had 2 really solid rounds to get them over the top, obviously, with the pistol craziness from Savage and obviously the insanely brazen fake over towards B. But outside of that, the C side definitely left me wanting for quite some time. So we'll see.
Third pistol round we've casted today on Inferno. All 3 of them have featured dual Berettas. This time it's Soju that is rocking the dualies.
And I think you pretty quickly can tell me how many frags they've netted.
0.
There you go.
Apoc going to be skirting on the outside of the smoke. There's a flashbang in his eyes, and that's going to be his life deemed forfeit. Hazard next up to the chopping block, executed by Shooter Pie, but also the flash assist again by Savage. So a clean take of the site. Avant need to wait for both Sterling and Soju to show up, especially as Soju is the defuse kit wearer. Jira going to try and create some inroads in which they can pivot off, but it's looking pretty bleak. There's a lot of angles being watched by the terrorists. Some chip damage too to the oncoming CTs. Still a player in Banana that's not shown his hand. Hasn't been required. Bottle, 2 kills. Could be a third. Will be a
Why
third.
not?
5Power, 1-0 in the lead. And it effectively just turns into a best of 1 now. You have to put all of the previous maps to the back of your mind.
Yep. And I mean, one thing that you really like to see, even if it's a best of 1, best of 3, or best of 900, Bottle getting off to a good start for 5Power. I feel like that's a bit of a driving force. We've seen that you can pretty much reliably count on Savage and for a few of the others to have production. Bottle is seemingly a little bit more fleeting in that sense. So about as good as you could hope for to get you going here on the side of Inferno for 5Power. SMG heavy presence here on the second round as well. Only 1 rifle.
That nade is going to leave a mark. Savage down to 30. And yeah, it's no coincidence that Bottle has an off game and they lose Overpass, and he has a 27
Kill game
and they win. Not a big surprise, that.
That's a scary part with a player like him because, yeah, he has the potential to drop 27, but he also has the potential to drop 4. Just not knowing where you have him is a terrifying notion at times. 5Power just encroaching on A-Halls here, and they're running into quite the stack, actually. You can see the setup from Avant. They're prepared for this. We did see 5Power play Inferno earlier, so might have picked up a few notes here and there.
Soldier just made some footsteps, though. They would have heard that on balcony, and they've definitely heard him drop down. And they're going to push behind this. The timing is rough for Avant, but at least Sterling can hold his ground for the 1. He's still perched on the site with a 5-7. There's a second for him. He's using the smoke so well and the pillars as sanctuary. He's just going to dig in and wait for the rest of 5Power to push him. 25 seconds to go. Can he feasibly get any more kills for his trouble? He's doing damage and he's still getting kills. He's turning this round in favor of Avant from nothing. It was a full purchase from 5Power. They could still maybe remedy the situation, but Apoc's going to peek out and Bottle will claim his life. I feel so bad for Sterling. He did so much work.
It felt like he was alive for so long that just midway through it, 5Power forgot he existed. I mean, sure enough, yeah, the rotations are coming in. There's a lot of other stuff to keep track of, but they barely do damage to him. Like, a significant amount of that damage that puts him down to 54 is actually off of a nade that's launched into the side. So nobody's actually connecting their shots on him. That was a wild experience and a very expensive one at that for 5Power.
Come the nades. 3 nades strong. 2 kills as Apoc did claim onto Viva. So a good start again.
And look at this. The response is a little bit labored from 5Power, and they think they might have gotten a drop on it. 3 nades down Banana. Obviously, you go towards A. But they're just too late. And 5Power's just masters at losing to these pistol rounds. They managed to withstand the force spy time and time again. And then when you think it's all safe, they crumble right in front of your eyes. And decision-making has been a bit of a worrying point. I mean, not a whole lot Xiao can do in that scenario. Even the nades that miss kind of come haunting after him as he tries to dodge out because he knows what's coming, but...
You could read the decision-making for 5Power. They see 3 grenades tossed from Banana. You're assuming that at least 3 players on B, so you try and hit A.
Yeah.
But you're not checking the corners. You're running into a trap.
And they're doing it slowly as well, right? You had people who were playing forward. I think the fact that APOC was able to pick up a pistol frag and just trade that off evenly set a bit of a sense of doubt into 5Power in terms of how safe it was to just run up. So even with the 3 nades down there, they didn't feel completely comfortable about moving forward. And I mean, to be fair, there was still a solo player over on that A bomb site initially, but kind of have to take your chances at that point and just commit immediately unless you want to really slow play it.
Bottle with the only AK out in the open. The timing's not going to favor Zhao Sage either. If he'd been a second earlier, has had a grenade out. Molotov stops any reoccurring patterns of aggression.
I'm just going to be able to find its way into the hands of Savage, and they do have a smoke for spawn as well. The boost here should be pretty damn efficient, though. Their only downside is that has is on 25 HP, so it could be a short-lived thing. Ooh, managed to drop down. Actually finds a 4th kill as well. He's on for the ace here. It's not going to be the case, but job well done regardless. And Savage does not know about the player on coils.
Oh, is Savage still alive?
Yeah. I'm blown away by how patient Jiro was, or how reluctant he was to actually peek out. And that's actually going to allow Savage to sneak away with an AK. Okay, then.
That is the great escape. I have honestly no idea how Savage has managed to survive and keep an AK-47.
He's had a few of those. The boost on overpass as well, right? Just being able to duck out. It's a big one. Come on, Sterling. Aw.
Bruh.
Damn.
See, you don't disrespect your IGL like that, because now Jiro's like, okay, you just rush in.
See, you know Sterling's going to be playing entry for the rest of the rest of the game.
I don't care if we lose the best of 3. You turn me down the fist bump.
I feel like the coach should be there to stand in at that time, just giving a bit of a backup bump.
Just literally grab his hand, make sure the connection takes shape. Might be a bit intrusive, but it's worth it for the fist bump. Grenade out. Viva has been chopped down significantly, just with a Glock though. He's not going to mind too much.
Yeah, it's all about Savage in this one. Well, I say that actually, there is a deagle on Xiao and Bottle as well. AK is not going to do a whole lot. Downside now is that there was just no other player on 5Power to even have light Kevlar, so aim punch is going to be pretty hefty. And they're just getting picked apart.
Down comes APOC 2 just to make sure that their avenue of retreat has been locked off. Bomb dropped, as will the remainder of 5Power. So Avant not going to be too deterred from how Mirage ended. They get back into winning ways. It's the nature in which they lost Mirage that's probably not going to bother them too much, because they put up so much of a fight. They were down twice, hefty amounts of rounds, but took 5Power to their limit.
I really did. But again, we started off saying in the first half with how it was going for 5Power, for Avant to get 6 rounds felt like a bit of a fever dream. It's a long shot. They do manage to bring it that far back and just work off of it. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be too distraught about losing it out. Obviously, they wish they could have closed that out in 2, but liking their chances. Xiao gets pressured, but actually wins out. Double entry. A little bit surprising to see that I actually think it's going to be completely clear off of that, given the fact that there were flashes down for the 2 players, but nonetheless still man advantage for 5Power.
It was a much-needed flashbang that was tossed in from Savage that yielded him the second kill. There is another 2 smokes for Sterling to use. Once that's going to plume, he can pick up the other one. And it was on the corpse of Zhao Sage, I believe. So he can stall this B aggression for quite a while longer, which allows him to stack the 2 players over. There's a slight gap in Boiler, and he's exploited it. Shouterpie sent packing. There's the other smoke deployed down now. Was that actually from the terrorists, I wonder? Or did he just find another one on a different corpse?
I think he found the third one.
He's got all the smokes all day. It's got to be so frustrating. Like, how many smokes does this guy have? It's like 3 or 4 in a row.
It's like,
he's got another one.
Did they just gamble stack over here?
He's got like the Mary Poppins hat. He just keeps pulling smokes out.
Well, I mean, 5Power make the right decision. If they would have been stuck through Banana right there, they would have been in for a real bad time. So even though they're going up against 2, might be, well, able to find something. But Jira, there's a spray transfer. Now he gets multiple dabs from Sterling. Gets it in spades.
That is
solid sprayed control there.
Yeah, that's slick.
That's exactly what they needed as well. Because if he gets the 1-for-1 trade, you still leave your second defender on that A bomb side in a 1v2. It's tough to deal with.
And they were put into that precarious position because of how many smokes Sterling had. That is excellent
4
work.
smokes.
Yeah, he just stalled for the better part of a minute, single-handedly based off smokes.
That's how you play the anchor, right? Just randomly conjure 4 smokes.
Good flash lands in the eyes of Savage, who's going to be finished off by that Molotov or HE. Either or will do the trick.
Whatever floats your boat. And right now, ships are sailing for this round. Not likely to find even a single kill on the side of 5Power. Oh, at least 1 Deagle connection onto Sterling. So something to bring back to the next round, at least for Shadow Pie. But it's so wild considering that all of this starts off of a pistol round where Avant should have no business winning. And it's 5Power dropping the ball, allowing Avant to go on a bit of a run. And I mean, you can do that only so many times before it really starts grinding on your gears, right? Like, it has to be a mental thing eventually that just tells you that we should have had much more rounds. We should have been in a better situation. We shouldn't be ecoing now. We shouldn't, you know, have this much trouble. And they only have themselves to blame.
I mean, we've had the veteran of APOC leading the charge, but now we literally have the in-game leader of Jira, who's on 12-2. It's his map to step up.
Yeah, only into round 8. Back and forth we go. Again, map control given up, but the rotation is on point from Avant as well. They've got 4 players over towards this A bomb site. You can see the smoke down there on balcony that was meant for them to push out on. Just be coming in a little bit later as the Molotov fades. The smoke wall here down into pit is going to be successful, so out they go. Bottle's the first one to fall.
Have to contend with Sterling, though. We saw what he could do with a 5-7. Now put an AWP in his hands, and he'll make the enemy disappear. Perhaps not. Zhao Sarge has the answer. It's an AK-47 round to the side of the head.
Still a lot of utility actually on him as well. All top of quad might actually be a little bit too late. Buck's gonna go past that.
Oh, Vivo with the insta-headshot, gonna duck down, make sure he doesn't get killed on retreat. Goes back in for seconds, anticipated APOC. So maybe pushing around the right side, and that is gonna be the clutch for Avant. So 5Power have the opportunity. Don't quite capitalize, though.
Get a bomb plant down, they got lost bonus, and they also brought the CT side down to 1 player alive. So there is potential here to fight back. APOC just being patient as ever there. Just pretty much getting his running boots on to make it past that Molotov initially. That's what does it for him. It becomes really tough for Viva to know his whereabouts. He's probably assuming that he's been staggered, held back a little bit longer. Now, we'll see. No double ops opted in for Avant. They feel like they're doing a pretty good job of dealing with whatever's being thrown their way. It's just a single one on Sterling, and I think that's a fair call. On the side of 5Power, though, they still have a fair bit of utility. Xiao is taking so much damage every time he steps into Banana.
They're not necessarily trying to push down Avant into the bottom of Banana, but they're making sure it's costly.
Yeah.
If 5Power get control of it, they're going to be taking chunks of damage.
The best part is it's not like they're throwing out both nades immediately and that's what's doing it. It's like they're gradually finding him on his pathway up Banana. Bit by bit. But they have given up Banana control completely. It's only Bottle over towards the A part of the map for Chinese. Question is if they're going to wait this out. Well, Xiao is definitely not. He gets picked up by Haza.
Pressure mounts on Apoc. He does deliver a headshot. Not enough for the outright frag. Malhazard stands up. There's two. Can't quite get a third with the spray transfer. Does get 3 overall, however. All the casualties have been to his hand. He has been the executioner. Bomb plant for Banana. Viva going to take the initiative and just back away instead, actually. I thought he may try and peek into Garden, but no reason to do so. Bottle's going to join him up on the coffins.
Still a doable position here. Finds first. Nice follow-up by Bottle.
So Sterling with his trusty AWP by his side. Going to have to try and carve out a masterful play. That grenade is going to significantly chunk away Viva. He's going to be forced out into the open, but still connects the headshot. 5Power do hold on.
They do bounce back, and again, being able to bring the CTs down to 1 player alive, and that previous one as well, it's going to do a whole lot of work to their economy. It's not going to be enough to buy up, but again, money quickly diminishes on the CT side if this keeps up. As you can see already, a lot of the reserves gone. Question is if 5Power can go on a bit of a streak here.
Well, if they end up dipping out instantly, especially if Sterling has broken the deadlock, it would put Avant in a very powerful position. Their economy would be stripped away. Beaver with a Mac 10, that's all he can muster. Only $50 remaining in his bank balance. Molotov inbound, courtesy of Apoc. 4-player stack. Avant have actually gone in pretty hard on A, and unbeknownst to them, the terrorists now turning back and deciding that maybe B is the correct decision. Sterling perched up on the wall. It should at least get him a kill before he can dart away, dependent on a flashbang beforehand.
Yeah, Shadowpie does not have a flash, though, to toss over the wall.
Only Bottle does. There's the flash. That's what it's all about. It's going to force Sterling back. And now the wraparound needs to come into fruition. He does land the shot, but it's in midair, so it's just the shin that's taken away. So many players pushing. How many kills can Sterling get? None. He had a couple of chances. It looked like he was very close to landing a number of times. There's the boost up from Jira. Going to change his avenue of aggression. The player advantage actually now falls on the Australians.
HP as well, heavily. A lot of healthy players. No nades, though. Ooh, and a miss. It's a bad one. Xiao is going to be able to rectify it, though.
He was getting wrecked up through the coffins. He can't catch a break wherever he goes. It's a headshot. So Avant are going to dodge the bullets quite literally 7-3, but they do lose 4 players plus a bomb plant. I'm curious if 5Power go back in.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they do.
They must realize that Avant's economy is not exactly in the best shape itself. Again, it comes down to risk versus reward. Is it worth us putting all of our chips on the table and going all in? Going to have Soju want enough money to purchase another gun, but a couple of them below $1,000 could be a bit more of an issue. And they have gone in. AKs and SGs. Does put them down to a Mac 10 again. No utility on Shadowpie, but it's actually a better buy than I was anticipating.
Issue is, though, so on a knife's edge for them. You're broken immediately if 5Power are able to win out this one.
That is true, but I guess we saw so many forces in Mirage up on ramp that really can't be surprised they've gone in aggressively again. Flashbang in. Also, Soju going to do his hold down left click as will Jira. There's just no way forward. There's been a roadblock planted outside of the apps. And everyone just smashing their faces against it. 5Power being repelled. Only the 1 casualty. And, well, the force buy is not paid off at all.
It really hasn't. I was expecting to see something similar to what we saw in the last time. Not necessarily smoke wall, but at least having the hay bale smoke to kind of, well, prevent this from happening from Jira. He gets a field day. It's a shooting range for him. With everyone keeping their eyes tracked on Soju down in pit. There's 1 flash in itself. Needs to be pretty damn perfect for it to hold off an entire A defense. Jira down mid. He was probably not expecting that. AK on Viva. Right now, it's a bit of a mess of it. So far, it's even trades. You take this if you're 5-power at this stage. Haza, he's getting dangerously far down Banana. He might not be expecting Xiao here. Definitely didn't. So this feels unnecessary on the side of Avant. I mean, sure enough, they were expecting an eco to come out probably from the side of 5-power, but once you've gotten confirmation that that's not the case anymore, there's no real reason for Haza to continue on his push.
Yeah, plus, even if you are against an eco, as Xiao Zage maybe gift wrapped another free kill, if you assume that you're against an eco, surely rushing into the enemy close range is always going to be dangerous.
Exactly. You come out of that smoke with no information whatsoever, and the gamble snack's not going to pan out. 5-power with the golden opportunity to bring this right back.
Unless they just read it as it was going to be a fast B hit and they wanted to get a quick rotation around the back of the T's, but I'm not too sure. Didn't work either way, did it?
Oh, Bottle spotted out the last remaining player as well. Soju down to 8 HP, and he's going to have to get out of dodge. And that round is somewhat surprisingly going to go the way of 5-power, so we've seen it twice now. Once for each side. Pistol's doing a whole lot of work here.
Well, the saved AWP, they're going to be able to buy. Soju can drop the AWP to Sterling, who has 3.3k. Haza has enough to replenish an M4. It's not going to be a great buy, of course. And as you said, I mean, 5-power now with 4 rounds out of 12 in pretty good shape. Like, if they can just get another round or two, it's not about T-half at all.
That's the thing. That's kind of how we felt for Avant side as well on Mirage, right? If they can salvage a halfway decent first half, there's definitely opportunities to get back into it. All comes down to whether or not 5-power are actually able to take advantage of the situation right now.
That's the aggression. It is going to yield a couple of kills, a flashbang into perfect time peaks. There's nothing 5-power can do about it. They wouldn't have been expecting that because, as we said, Avant typically been very passive on Banana. They've just sat at the back, thrown a couple of grenades, and then said, effectively, come at us behind the smokes.
Yeah. And I mean, the one time they decided to really commit to the forward push as well wasn't really too much of an issue for 5-power to handle. This time, though, tide's turn.
Bomb was dropped back towards T-spawn, has been picked up and retrieved by Viva. Solid grenade timing. Gonna cut away nearly 40% of Shadowpie's health.
Random shots being rattled into mid as well, so you know there's presence over towards Arch still. Question is, where do you go from here? You kind of want to find a pick. You do have 2 smokes as well, so eyeing up potential B hit is definitely something 5-power could do.
Apoc anticipating that a push may be coming in very shortly, and he is correct in that assumption. Flashbang in, but it is going to be from Jira. Helps his teammate out for a kill. Molotov to the back of pit. Are they expecting 2 plays here? Perhaps not. Bottle, the timing not on his side, and neither it is for 5-power. So Avant, they do concede, but they bounce right back again. That's been a recurring theme.
Yeah, every time they've been on the edge of getting broken, been able to strike back. That's what's preventing 5-power from actually having, well, what is looking like a rather mediocre, well, not even that, not that great of a TF from potentially having a really, really good one. So many potential 2-for-1 rounds that have been lost and not being able to fully come through for 5-power. And it's happening at the worst time as well. Needs fly down again, so it's just going to take 40 points of damage, which feels pretty lenient considering what they've been dealing with in Banana earlier on. Savage is actually having quite the rough game here to start us off on Inferno, being so good in the first 2 maps. Right now, not really finding his footing.
Whereas Jira, on the other side of the spectrum, is fragging out 18 and 7 over 130 ADR. He's balling out of control. 5-power. They have a quick peek at the top of Banana. Now going to set up some smokes towards CT side. It's going to be in the eyes of Haza. It's going to throw out 1 in retaliation. It's all about stalling this push. They also have Jira, who's playing more of a sweeper role in library, can quickly rotate if the call comes through, which is happening right now. Apox will try and take the fight to the tees, but only the one kill, probably not good enough.
And the swing is not quick enough from Jira. It doesn't get enough time to actually work with here. So afterline position is going to be set up for 5Power pretty decently as well, and they'll also have Bottle there waiting in the shadows, but he kind of needs to get a move on or just rotate back towards Banana. I'm going for a long flank here. Does not really seem like the play, and Eva committing to the duel inside the Molotov Savage. You need to kind of play for time here, buddy. Allow for Bottle to get into this. Sterling 1v2. Okay.
It's not possible. He can tickle a bomb. He's got enough time. But he's actually going to hold down, and Bottle just sprays through the smoke. He got a bit close towards the end, but 5Power are going to get a 5th round.
5Power making this quite the interesting affair here. Not really sure what Savage wanted to do with the forward push there. He had a pretty solid situation where Sterling needs to tap the bomb to force him out of position and so on. Still, 9-6 on the cards for 5Power, and that really feels like what could be saving the game for them.
Weaponry certainly in favor of the Chinese team, plus a whole bucket load of nades. Avant don't have anywhere near as much. They do have 3 smokes at their disposal and incendiary. But already, banana control has fallen. They don't have the kind of utility that can stall and oppress 5Power for a long period of time. And definitely not the firepower behind it with the CZ and Desert Eagle. Good flashbang has been tossed in, but it affects Apoc just as much as his adversaries. They've moved past one another. Hazard with 3 Deagle frags. Could be the difference maker. They're going to try and force the bomb down while the smoke is up. Take the risk, take the gamble, and it has paid off for the short time. And 5Power are going to be moving in Bottle from Banana to help his teammate out. Hazard with another 1 Deeg. This time partially through the wall, and Sterling's going to claim the rest. What a round by Hazard. That is sick.
I love Soji just looking over at Asby like, how did you do that? Just complete disbelief. And again, it's just such a golden opportunity for 5Power to be able to get something good going, and it gets shut down. And it feels like it's been the case of the entire first half, but 10-5, it's not over. Not by any means, but we're going to head to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get the conclusion of this best-of-3 series, 10-5 in favor of Avant.
For the final time in this deciding matchup, best of 3, we are going to be hopping into the second half. If it's Inferno, it's the classic third deciding map, and Avant currently lead by 10 rounds to 5. It could have been a lot better for them, but 5Power pulled off a couple of miracle plays along the way. Jira has been the standout player for Avant, and some of the heavy hitters from 5Power have been a little bit eerily quiet, Ven, so we're going to be hoping they can step things up when it comes to this second half. Here is the crazy play from Hazard with the Desert Eagle. Unreal.
Jesus. Not a lot of reasonable shots from Hazard right there, but you take those if you're Avant.
Yeah, it's sick if you're Avant, and it's sickening if you're 5Power. You're not happy with that.
Different feelings in your tummy, to put it that way. One's Pit of Despair, and the other one's Butterflies. We'll see, though, if 5Power can get off to a hot start here with a pistol like they did in the first half. And they've been, on average, pretty good with their pistols so far.
Interesting that Viva's decided to opt for the 5.7. Because typically, you'll drop to a P250 so you can get a smoke and a flash. But the 5.7 obviously costs the $200 extra. It's $500.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful gun. But if he gets overwhelmed, it could be a little bit too much to handle.
Actually holds on to the smoke as well, even though he spots someone early on, so doesn't get baited out to use his utility right away. Right back into the potential trap here from 5Power. There you go. Ooh, that's the timing you want.
Savage, living up to his name, executing 2 players, but Avant is still in this.
Problem is, Bomb was one of the casualties up in apps, though, so Savage has so much information. Still actually goes for the peek. That's a great shot from Haza. Jerry is going to be able to pick up the bomb as well and back out. Now, though, and actually the committed rotation over from Viva as well. They have no idea what's going on right now, so going to send one more player back towards B once again, and this doesn't seem like it's necessarily the committal either from the side of Avant.
Oh, that is brutal because Bottle went the other way. He went down mid, so there's no chance of retaliating. He's going to have to come back onto the site 1v2. I don't believe they had a kit. I think it was Viva that went in for a smoke and a 5.7. So he's going to have to get these kills quickly. Otherwise, this round is going to slip away, and this second half may slip away with it. This is an integral, pivotal moment. He's checking all the angles apart from where the 2 terrorists reside. It's Jira with a P250 in the back of the head. 11-5, and that is the nightmare start to the second half if you are on 5Power.
I was looking so good as well, right? Savage, again, with the calm play to find 2 here in apps. You're thinking to yourself, like, surely that's going to be the deciding factor in this, but Haza displaying some pistol prowess, to put it mildly, in the last couple of rounds.
See, the Deagle King turns into the USP King. And interestingly, 2 MP7s have been purchased. You typically see NAC-10, maybe sometimes an MP5, but...
Yeah. So one of the 4 spies on Mirage. APOC brought one of them out. This is a first for Soju. Also see the 4 spy on the set of 5Power. Not that many SMGs there, but they do have an MP9 and a Shadow Pie, but predominantly pistols they'll be working with.
Sterling positioned on Banana by his lonesome. The rest of his team are running over onto the apps area. You're going to be maybe looking to draw a couple of extra rotations. I don't realize there's 3 players over here on B. Bottle running through his CZ magazine, and although he does damage, he's not going to collect any kills. And now Shadow Pie back against the wall. Not for much longer. He's been culled by Sterling. They've expunged the A site, and now 5Power are going to have to just save what they have on their back pocket, which is some pistols and Kevlar. So, I mean, Avant are off to a storming second half. This is already getting very dangerous.
It really is. Fair bit of utility on the side of 5Power, though, that they could potentially work with here. So you try to look for the positives. If nothing else, maybe you can set up for a pop flash here and there, net some easy kills on your end in the next round. But Avant, yeah, avoiding the scare initially, but I think we've seen a bit of a trend of not being the first 4 spy. That's the most scary one for either of these sides. It's one where when you think you have them, down and out. It's when they pounce.
Yeah, we saw a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs on Mirage, where it seemed like 5Power were going to storm it, and then back came Avant, and it looked like they were going to maybe steal it just at the end. And 5Power shifted into a different gear. It's going to have to be the reverse, because 5Power going to keep their pistols and Kevlar, but can't really put anything alongside it.
Yeah. Good thing, though, to see them not reinvesting into Kevlar on Bottle and Shadow Pie. would have had long-term effects on their economy.
Could have had long-term effects on this best of 3 as well if they went it all in and lost it. Hence their more conservative passive play. Apoc spots a couple of pixels from StarLadder, who decides to peace out of balcony. Gonna try and change his defensive position. Flashbang lands straight in his face, but he's still alive because Bottle's helping him out with a P250.
Oh.
Tons of nades get charged into pit. Savage going to try and use that smoke to his advantage, but he's been spotted. He's getting tagged up. He's just over 50% of his HP. Molotov underneath him. Graveyard too hot to handle, but there's another gap in the smoke he's trying to exploit. Apoc's having none of it with his MP7. And Alviva, who picked up the 5.7 in the pistol round, is going to see if it can work better here with some Kevlar behind it. And, well, no, not really. It's the same result.
Yep. Short-lived hope there. In any case, though, still not over for 5Power. We're going to have to invest in this one. Avant already sitting at 3 and 13. That nade couldn't have been more perfect.
Just a systematic shutdown. 5Power gonna have rifles.
Oh, the tempo here, though.
Yeah, they've really mixed the tempo up. They're speeding this up significantly. There's a smoke planted, though. It stops and isolates the terrorists from one another. Well placed by 5Power. And they are going to reap the rewards. It should be a clean sweep round. Try and build that economy. The bomb's been dropped out on short side.
Bar's going to get re-smoked out of apps as well. Fires a couple of hopeful shots. See if he can connect with anything through the smoke. Not going to be the case. And Bob's still down in quad.
Solid CT round. 5Power. They're going to torch this push.
They're going to need a lot of these, though. Considerable advantage. I mean, actually more grim of a situation than what Avant find themselves on Mirage. That said, though, they were pretty damn close to bringing it all back.
Yeah, I don't think you can take too much from that round because Avant still had a bunch of SMGs that they kind of wanted to see if they could maybe do a bit of damage and mix up the tempo. And that's also going to keep 5Power on their tiptoes going forward. Is the next round going to be a rush, for example? It's going to be in the back of their mind. But I'm expecting to see Sterling pick up an AWP and to slow this next round down significantly. Try and play default.
Would imagine that to be the case. Bottle's not able to connect on these early frags. Again, things can spiral. Absolutely so. For now, they hold on at the very least. So 6 rounds for 5Power. Still quite the mountain to climb. The buy coming in from the set of Avant. As you mentioned, it was a bit of a bonus round in that previous one, so they're looking pretty damn good going into round 20.
Prioritizing the rifles over the AWP, fair enough. Not every AWPer is going to have a lot of impact when it comes to Inferno T side.
Oh.
And, well, wouldn't have mattered anyway because he just got smacked up through the smoke.
Yeah, Xiao is one of the few, well, I think he's the only one who really favors the AUG still here on the side of 5Power, but he's been doing a lot of work with it.
Yeah.
Still showcasing that even though it has been hit with a fair few nerfs, doing a whole lot of work, and Haz is playing pretty damn well so far this game. Xiao Saga goes down. He was going to be able to find 2, though, for himself.
But elsewhere, Apoc has shut out StarLadder on A site. They're not entirely sure as to whether the bomb is traversing across the B or A. Now the smoke has been deployed in mid. I think this stands to reason that 5Power are anticipating the play. They're not going to be able to stop the bomb plant, but going to wait for their 3rd player in the form of Viva to get up close.
At very least they should. They're going to boost up to see over the smoke. And ooh, Bottle, you're kind of tucked away in the corner. You guys should just dissipate. Yeah, you should get out of that. Not worth it if you can't get the immediate frag. You're just putting yourself in a position to allow Soju to get a double kill.
Teammate's gone down the lineup though, and the spray's on point, and a 3rd as well. Soju clutches it out and propels Avant so close to taking this best of 3.
Oh, things weren't looking already pretty rough for them. That's just the ideal lineup. I mean, pretty sure Soju doesn't even see Viva in that scenario.
It's great to see his reactions. We said this earlier. It's just infectious energy.
It's been consistent with it as well. I mean, what a round as well to win out 1v3. Avant that much closer. Shout. Playing with fire and Shadow Pie, yeah, opposite side of the maps, but same results. Taking a whole lot of damage, not getting anything in return for it.
First kill still goes the way of the Chinese, though, which is surprising considering how much damage has been inflicted across to them.
And with where it happens as well, it's a late peek down mid from Savage to start things off. Maybe gonna find Haza trying to peer through the smoke. So it went from looking pretty damn dire for a 5-power just in the HP department to now giving them a pretty decent chance of holding things off. Savage still tucked away in the arch corner. It's an easy kill for him. No smoke down. I mean, a bit of a field day here so far. Sterling's able to take the op out of his hands at least. See if we can find some more here. Bottle in the corner of arch. Doesn't find anything on that flash. Now been sectioned off. Sterling might actually consider, well, I was about to say either saving it, but yeah, he's going to make sure Savage doesn't get that op into the next round. They don't really have the money to rebuy into this either, so it's a smart move. Very heads up by Sterling.
Absolutely. Force them to dip into their pocket if they want another sniper rifle. It's good to see Savage from a neutral's perspective, though, start to hit some shots and have a big part of impact because, as you said, he was a bit quiet early on here on Inferno. Yeah, if he starts to feel it, then we're in for a real game here.
He definitely has been kind of the one leading the charge for 5-power in the first 2 maps. So you'd imagine that being a pretty significant part of their success going into the 3rd one as well. Tempo's, again, screwed up in bottle. Not 100% ready for it, but still deals pretty decently. 2 frags to his name. Savage ready to respond as well for whatever comes through. Probably shouldn't push too far forward here. It's down to 12 HP. It's taking so many losses here and there. Not having the ability to rebuy could potentially come back to bite 5-power at some point.
Shadow Pipe with the easier of kills that he'll get in this matchup. I think the reason he may have pushed with the 12 HP is he wanted to make sure that no one could peek through the smoke and take the M4.
Yeah.
And then he had the backup from another player from B side, and he decided better of it. But solid work overall by 5-power, losing Bottle, who has to replenish. He's down to $250. There are a couple of players that are struggling and no AWPs.
Well, at least they're going to be given another opportunity to win a rather clean one. Then again, it is pistols. Who knows how 5-power can bungle this one up, but so much utility on their hand as well. And the tempo has been slowed down from Avant as well, so hard to get caught off guard, really, if you're CTs right now. Deep nades.
Hard to see how they lose, but Ven, we have seen crazier things happen at these minors.
Some of these teams continue to impress us in the weirdest ways. Nade's going to be pretty nicely timed. Jira goes down, so that's no flash actually out for Balcony. And another nade. Utility damage working out pretty nicely for 5-power in this one. Haven't seen a single player yet, and already one down. Soju on 70 HP and has a below half. I'd say though, Haza has been working some magic with this Deagle before. Would it put it against him to actually do it again? And there's only a solo player over on the B bomb side. If Avant somehow can get a hunch for what's going on, Xiao Sage goes down early on, then an easy B bomb site take could lead into a whole lot of nightmares for 5-power. But they've made their way back towards archways, and Bottle's going to find Haza, so no early drop on them. Right now, it seems like they're just scrambling to find any sort of pick here.
And the round is long and full of terrors for Avant at this stage. 18 seconds to go. They still possess the bomb around Library. They really needed Sterling or Soju to do something from the balcony. won't be forthcoming, 14-9. So yeah, I mean, you did highlight that Avant were in a very similar position and predicament on Mirage, and they nearly brought it back. And so far, seems like the Chinese have a few things to say about this best of 3 going to the Australians.
Absolutely, and again, it's a very different position, right? When you're so close to winning it, considering what's on the line as well, what's at stake for the teams. Ending up in a scenario where you play not to lose instead of playing to win. It's a bit of a cliche saying, but it's very true. The mindset within the team becomes completely different. You become more worried about not making mistakes rather than making plays that could potentially win you the game. We'll see how inexperienced teams like this actually deal with being in that kind of scenario, because obviously you don't really get this chance too often.
I'm going to have another crack at it, though. Galil, SG, West AKs, plenty of grenades, though. No early aggression. Bomb drop towards T-spawn, which is a declaration of intent. They're not looking for a rush anytime soon.
Solid nade there. Down banana. Xiao. Wants to try his luck once again. Not going to find a connection this time, but Sterling's been tagged down to 2 HP. They might not expect him actually to be in that position. Viva still commits to the peak, even when Xiao just kind of backed off from the entire situation. That's a bit of a weird one. And they might not be expecting Sterling to sit in this corner as well, considering they threw so much utility down towards it that probably would have expected him to die by then. Now, with the death down, they've also rotated player over towards B. A lot of it's going to be onto Bottle. Finds one. Dances around all the bullets. Still makes it out alive. Oh, Xiao. Well then. A bit of an overreaction here from 5Power. They immediately thought that this is going to be a commitment towards A, but it's all a ruse.
Yeah, when that smoke went down, they got the kill. You assume that all of them were there. Savage, though. The spray transfer to the dome of Hazard may have just clawed this round back. 5Power have the player advantage with Sterling on 2 HP. Need to still traverse across to the site. They only have 20 seconds to play with. Savage can just hold his position, or he can peek out and thread another headshot. Apoc this time is the victim. And 5Power, they've landed the double digits, Ven. This is normally where teams will start to look over their shoulder.
Yeah. Now you start to feel the pressure. It's not as much shouting, it's a lot of heavy breathing and high heart rates. And that, you see how crucial it can be just to be able to pick up an AK at, you know, the end of a round, that kind of a thing. That frag never comes through if he doesn't have an AK. It's very easily, that's just a 1-for-1 trade. Bomb site goes the way of Avant, and you have to save. Allow the T's to get actually up to map point. Instead, now, you're winning out. As you said, back to double figures, and your opponents have to go on another eco.
Oh, it was 10-5 at halftime to Avant, and now 5Power in very real proximity. Especially, you'd assume that they can convert this round against a weakened Avant in terms of Hazard being low, not much utility or firepower. Flash in. Viva just going to decide against sticking around as he's the lone defender on B. They need him to stay alive.
Plays that safely. All right, initial damage done by Savage.
Back in multiple angles. The SG is coming up a charm. Only losing 20 HP in total. Make that a little bit more, 74. Shadowboy takes the ace away, but 5Power going from strength to strength. And again, this is comeback coming in, and they look just so composed, so calm, not affecting them at all. They almost look bored.
That's what I was about to say.
Like, they don't even want to be here. Like,
yeah.
Are you sure you realize the magnitude of the situation?
Savage seems to do so. Again, that slow T-side start, but getting onto that CT side, now he's just about neck and neck with Bottle.
4K, and he's like, yeah, cool.
That's what I do. Now, though, the real test begins once again. Once more, no op on the hands of, or to the name of Sterling. We've seen a lot of that from both sides, actually. Tucking themselves into the corner, the late HE comes in to do pretty damn good damage. And then they fall back from Banana and give up control. So it's a bit of a mirror, actually, from both teams, how they go about it.
Yeah, I was going to say returning the favor because Avant landed a lot of grenades onto the likes of Savage and Bottle in Banana. Bit of flirtation just outside of Amps, but not really yielding much. However, on Arches, kills going in favor of Avant. They move a player to the good. Hazza will claim the headshot onto Savage. Bottle while flashbang has a quick peek down mid. Oh, he's actually going to go behind this. This could be purely off timing. The bomb's been dropped first off. A gap in the smoke.
Oh, Bottle actually stopped moving forward, though. That would have been the ideal timing for him to get behind all of them. Instead, Shout, seeing if he can find more connections. Nothing so far. Got Molotov for side as well here on Bottle, but he's tucked around quad.
Smoke as well, which has been deployed towards the graveyard. I think he's going to try and funnel off Pit to force him out into the open, and now Bottle can come in. Both the remaining terrorists are stuck on the site. Sterling can't get the lineup. It was Soju who pulled off a 1v3 in a similar position, but Lightning will not strike twice.
Right now, I would imagine the nerves are getting pretty damn high on the side of Avant. Such a significant lead, and this is what, 7-round streak? 7 out of the last 9. No, 8 out of the last 9, right?
7 out of the last 8.
7 out of the last, yeah. There we go. Definitely should get my glasses on. Oh man. As you can tell, they've been doing it, staying alive with a very few players as well, so money is not going to be an issue even if you were to lose a round here. And struggling to find answers here. But it's not really clear-cut as to what the right choice of, or right course of action is at this stage either. They've been given Banana control. They've tried to execute in towards it. It's been a fair bit of individual prowess from the side of 5Power, keeping them in this a lot of the time. So you're not necessarily doing a whole lot of things wrong.
They decided that ruthless aggression is the way forward, but Yao Sage equal to the task. Viva trying to flick across for more kills. They're going to be able to thin the herd, but not enough to stop the bomb from being planted down. Savage going to be moving up Banana. Meanwhile, Shadow Pie on CT side. So Bottle's just going to wait for the cavalry to arrive. Doesn't want to push in prematurely and give his teammates a harder task on the retake.
No Molotovs for the CTs. Hard to flush people out of the corners, but 2 nades could do some significant damage here. Savage, pretty far moved forward, actually, compared to everyone else on this team.
Now the nades in. Apoc has been tagged down. It's all on Sterling. 1 on 3. Good flick for the first kill. Oh, in a second, they nearly lined up for a collateral. I bet 5Power's hearts were in their mouths for a couple of moments there, but it's another successful retake. 1 round shy.
And I mean, they're just not phased. 0 signs of emotion from them at all. Well, tactical pause being called in terms of changing the game up, how you actually approach it. Pretty solid go of it from the side of Avant as well, just immediately committing off of the Banana control gained. Definitely caught them off guard. Just a really solid job from Xiao to be able to push through the smoke, find 2, and Viva connected with that 1 crucial off shot from New Boxes. That is a tough one. Again, it's not like Avant are doing necessarily something wrong here. You can tell just how close that is from doubling up. Whew.
Mere millimeters away. Sterling, I think for a moment, thought he had it. You can see his reaction is one of both confusion and disappointment.
I mean, time was starting to run out as well. Keep that in mind. Here's the scenario where he doesn't get the last kill and just time's gone. Speaking of, the rebuy in here from 5Power. There are 2 players that haven't picked up a defuse kit. That can be a little bit dicey in certain afterplan positions. Oh, Viva gets the lucky connection off the flashbang. That has it down, and that could have been... Oh. Pretty damn damning for 5Power. Trying to force Savage off the angle. Not going to help.
Did tag him, though. 25 HP. It just seems like these 50-50s that were working against 5Power are now working in their favor.
Very much so.
These little flash kills and damage and chip damage through walls. It's all stacking up.
Wild spray and the spray transfers like we saw from Savage over towards B.
Sure. And now maybe Avant starting to get into desperation territory, over-peaking, overextending when they don't need to. Smokes primed for an imminent take on B. And they're throwing in a lot of their utilities. So they kind of have to go behind this. Plus the time is starting to dwindle away.
Assuming Smoke is going to come over towards Coils here to force Xiao's hand. Oh, Soju.
May as well spray through that smoke. You know that they're going to be pushing through it. Viva has been unchecked at the back of the site. Spots Sterling. Kills him where he stands. And Jira, who had such a fantastic first half, have to somehow come out clutch 1v5. And Xiao Saga says, not today. 14-14. At one point, it was 13-5.
It's been quite the comeback, quite the road back to reality for Avant, and I mean for 5Power to having the persistence to not give up. I probably felt like, well, if Avant could do it on Mirage, there's definitely hope for us still here on the CT side of Inferno, and they've definitely showcased that. And I think the most frustrating thing for Avant is the fact that they're, again, not necessarily doing a whole lot wrong. I mean, their approaches aren't necessarily bad. Again, it's the individuals on the side of 5Power can't really highlight enough how much of an impact Savage has had here on the CT side. It's more or less invisible for the better part of the T side, and shows the right point in time to really get into it. Double ops on the side of 5Power.
Yeah, Bottle is finding good form again too. The two of them are really propelling them forward. Tag Hazard survives on 1 HP somehow. Can thank his Guardian Angel for that one. Not that it necessarily makes a huge deal of difference, man, because, I mean, they're completely outmatched in terms of firepower. It's a good flashbang.
Needs to hit your shots, though.
Gonna get them a kill onto Bottle, but the grenade plus AWP equals a whole lot of death for Avant. Now Soju, and he's the last man standing. CZ gonna be able to trade that across to an M4. Down he goes. One match point now in favor of 5Power.
Actually showing some emotions, too. It was labored. They had to get to match point before they started shouting, but there it is. So guaranteed overtime at the very least, and Avant right now, we've been so close. This is going to slip just at the very end of it all.
Oh no, we got the auto sniper.
All the sniper being put into use here. Might be for the wall spam down towards Banana for the half wall.
I think they used this on Train as well.
Yeah,
for a couple
Savage,
of rounds.
Right?
Yep. And it makes sense. I mean, it can be exceptionally powerful. And it's the last round of regulation, so you may as well put all of your money in.
Give it a go. And yeah, he's in a pretty damn good spot to be able to utilize it as well. He's going to start burning, though, and sticks around for a little bit too long. Well, then, that was not how you wanted it to.
That's a head scratcher.
Yeah, it is.
That's an odd one.
Patient from Hazard, though, to wait it out and not run into it immediately after to see if he can punish. So Lost.
Nage proceeding to push. Shaunapai. Last beacon on the back of the site. Now going to be joined by Bottle. M4. Spray. Coming through with kills. Is still alive on 14 HP. Has thinned it out to a 2-on-2. Sterling and Jira stand between them in a potential clutch. And it's all down to Sterling to try and save this map now. There's one. Going to be missing out. Switches to his Glock and it's good enough. Overtime is upon us. They finally stopped the curse.
Just utter chaos there at the end. Man alive, yeah, I think this is taking a toll on Soju. It's been the bundle of energy for Avant. He doesn't even know how to deal with this. Oh, Sterling coming up so clutch there at the very end. It's fitting as well. We saw it over on the CT side. Whether it's op, 5-7s, or what have you, always having impact for his team.
Man, third map deciding Infernos in overtime. They're more iconic duo. It's crazy how often it happens.
It's like it's programmed into the map. And man, the pressure you feel there when you can't get the direct connection for Sterling. Understandable release of emotion.
Yeah, because you have to keep in consideration they just lost so many rounds in a row. Nothing was working for them.
It was 13-5 at one point.
Down to 14-15 against you, so taking it to overtime. Okay, got to try and reset now as best as you can. Jira has been chunked hard. What a shot by Hazard. Not punished either.
By Viva, yeah. Oh, finally gaining some traction here over towards Banana. Something to work with. Also, important to note, it is 10K. MR3, oh, go for the shot, Viva. Believe in yourself.
I think the thing that's working against it is he's worried if he takes the shot and there's a player up close, he can just get killed straight away to the right. Now that he's seen it's clear, maybe he does go for the wall bang. He's going to play patiently, misses again though! And it was Hazard for the second time, has been his nemesis.
And that's the open bomb site. Now you kind of have to save here. It's going to be tough to do as well. Soju already infiltrating the back lines. Bottle. Most hopeful bomb denial attempt of 2019. It goes, well, just like you'd imagined, and Shadowpie down to 8 HP. The problem for 5Power right now is that if you can't win the first round, you've invested into ops, you're pretty much banking your entire OT on the second round. Even if you win it out and you, I guess, do it in a non-convincing fashion, your last round buy is going to be so bad.
Well, Shadowpie has upgraded to an AK, which is so huge on the CT side, especially maps like Inferno, where a lot of angles are those 1 or 2 headshot angles where you're only going to have a slight gap, a slight advantage.
It's like oftentimes as a CT, you might get the drop on him first, but you do the classic like 88 or 81 and or 89 and 1, and he has an AK, so therefore he wins. We'll see if that actually plays a part though in these upcoming rounds, but keep an eye on the economy. Viva, who invested into that op, actually a little bit surprised that was Viva who was the one to, I guess, get permission to buy, because going into double ops right off the bat and 10K MR3, that is a bit of a risk. But with how Savage has been playing, you kind of would have been okay with him leading the charge, I'd say.
You think with an auto sniper, maybe they're going to stack a few grenades down and then pull back and not have him defend by himself?
Maybe. Might be the case. Curious to see if we're going to see some spam through the walls as well. And once again, openings in Banana. No answer just yet, but there we go. A lot of damage being done through the smoke. They only know about the 1 kill they got onto Sterling, but Jiren has a so low on HP. Adds to injury. Soju down to half HP too.
Now they're going to pull back, so he is on his own on B side. It's going to bolster up A, but they are hemorrhaging kills. Savage is the next to fall. Looking to vanquish any more defenders on A. Shawasagi can't get it done.
Oh, so many opportunities for multi-frags for pretty much every single 5-power player. Unable to capitalize, and Viva actually opting in for the op?
Switch from his auto sniper, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather take an auto sniper in that scenario just to... If you're going to have to clear corners quickly, opportunity to get multiple no-scopes off, anything would be better than an op in that scenario, I feel like. I guess can't necessarily know that there's been so much damage done to the remaining Avant players, but man alive, now we see that dreadful third round buy from 5Power not being able to win out the first round. Economy just all over the place. MP9, FAMAS, UMPs, not a lot of utility in it. They're going to go aggressive. Shawasagi is just going to run down Banana on his lonesome. This aggression from... That's when it's falling apart for 5Power. Once they started to go aggressive here in Banana. Luckily for them, though.
I'm amazed that actually worked out somewhat okay for them.
Yeah, it's... That is pretty much luck. That's not going to win out you a lot of rounds most of the time. Shadowpie manages to punish Soju, and that's a big one. Not be expecting APOC over here, though. So, E-bomb site open for business. Bomb's pretty far removed, though.
Yeah, that would have been quite the shock for Shadowpie. Apoc was able to move up through short and just get up onto the balcony side. Bottle, going to try and get rid of him with the UMP, insta-headshot, perfect crosshair placement.
What do you do now if you're Sterling? You have an op, so hard to clear out corners and angles. Seems like 5Power want to split 1 for 1. I do like the position from Bottle over towards the A-bomb side, just tucked away in Graveyard. Savage, though, can wait out until he hears a bomb plant being attempted here. Sterling has no seeming idea as this might be the case.
Yeah, Savage was playing it slowly because for all he knew with 30 seconds left, it was a fake. Didn't want to die ahead of time of his teammate, of Bottle. And of course, with it being the last round of the overtime, it simply doesn't matter if he gets the plant down. All that matters is you get the round. So they're going to trail 16-17. Magic number, of course, is 19 now.
Now we get to see what 5Power can actually do on their T side again. We talked about it a lot of the times here throughout the second half, but a lot of the small margins that went the way of Avant in the first half flipped on its head and went back to 5Power, and that's why we saw the sudden surge of rounds coming their way. Now we saw things going more in the favor on the T side of Avant, but I think that was more down to just solid setups and, better play, not necessarily just happenstance. Now it's on 5Power to see if they can replicate that, because they did not have the greatest of T sides.
It's definitely a fair statement. But again, you just got to put all of the previous rounds and shenanigans to the back of your mind. Eyes on the overtime. AWP, as you'd expect for Sterling. No AWP to speak of on 5Power on the attack. Again, a lot of teams will prioritize the rifles over AWPs on T side. You don't get that many opportunities, and to be fair, we didn't see them get that many kills in the hands of Savage. Sterling, close range, they're going to slow peek him. He runs into the wall, but it's not going to cost him his life, although very close.
Dangerous.
You better believe that his heart skipped a beat right there. He'll be making a move through arches. Haz is there with the M4, decimating Viva. Jira's also going to chime in with a kill. In a second, the bomb's dropped. Avant likely to have 2 match points. Unless Zhao Sagi can pull this back in a huge way. Flashbang. Sterling did go for a peek, has now spotted his prey. He could double stack this. Nearly was a 2 for 1.
Yeah. Having 3 players to deal with in the end there would have been a little bit too much, though. Now, as you said, 2 match points in a row. Well, no more shouting on the side of 5Power. Playing to stay alive. And again, hoping to make it into that playoff bracket.
Something you highlighted, man, Savage. He had a very slow start on the T side with the AWP. He's picked it up again. It was really the CT side where he excelled. That's got to be a concern.
Up to 27 frags, and yeah, vast majority of that was CT side frags. I'm going to give up banana control early on. Actually, just a lot of real estate in general. For 5Power, and oh, Sterling. Fortunate timing there as Viva drops down into boiler room. Soldier still perched up on here on balcony. Has to be a little bit worried about someone pushing forward. He does have Jira watching apps for him every now and again, but he's tucked away towards arch corner right now. He needs to fall back from an aggressive angle.
Jira does vacate arches, though. This is going to mount the pressure for Soju. He's alone on A.
Yeah, they're kind of just going for a gamble stack here, and you can't really fault them for it.
Oh, Soju, what do you have up your sleeve? Can you hold the line? Can you be the sentinel that Avant so desperately require? If you can, it could be the match falling the same way. The AVR's not going to get checked. 3 kills come down for Soju. And that could be enough for the rest of Avant to chip in. The 3 of them going to be moving in together. Not even sure if there's an extra player here, so they're wasting valuable time checking all the angles.
So little utility as well. They have a Molotov. That's going to go down. It's too far, though.
Soju's 3 kill was everything. Stands up, elated alongside the rest of Avant, and you can understand why. I mean, at one point, they were on the brink of losing the match.
Really were. I mean, it's not just that. I mean, they started off with such a hefty lead in that second half, only to lose it all, being at the brink of getting knocked out or losing the match. Map 1 goes the way of 5Power. They somehow muster the strength to bring it to overtime, and once we get there, individuals shining for the side of Avant. And the Dark Horse, well, keep running. Taking down 5Power, quite the scalp as well. You can tell how much it means to them.
Yeah, the only team that's really handled Avant so far is Greyhound, and they are the firm favorites. To be fair, they did manhandle them on Nuke, but that'll be a distant memory. Other than that, they have looked very good indeed. 5Power, they had chances. They weren't able to pull a trigger. They were 15-14 in the lead. We then had that clutch from Sterling to take us to overtime. And it never felt like to me that 5Power got settled in the overtime. Like, I don't know if it was just the inspiration kind of subsided or what happened, but they just didn't really seem to click.
Yeah, no, they kind of lost a bit of the, well, momentum, if you want to call it that. But yeah, if it's inspiration, who knows? But it didn't feel like the same kind of 5Power that we saw mounting that impressive comeback to get them, you know, guaranteed an overtime in the first place, which is just a shame. And I think obviously once you swap over to the T side, it's been so far removed since you got I guess, a bit of a groove as to how you want to play, and considering the struggles that they had in regulation. It's going to be tough to get into a proper mindset where you can try to figure out what's going on with the CT side of Avant as well.
Well, let's hear it from Avant themselves, who has an interview lined up with us on the stage.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Jira. You secure your spot in the playoffs, and that was such a ridiculous series. We're going to break it down in just a bit, but I need to mention the fact that this is your first minor, first LAN with this roster. What does it mean to secure this progression moving forward?
I think it's like 4 of our team's biggest achievements, besides you, and I got a sticker. It means a lot to all of us. It's what we've all put our lives towards. I think everyone's just really happy. We've worked really hard for this, and hopefully we can go all the way through and get stickers.
Well, this series was really entertaining. It actually could have ended in a potential 2-0. So let's first talk about Mirage, because you were down 8-1 and then you started to get the rounds back. Talk about how important that 2v4 with APOC and Sterling was.
Yeah, I think everyone runs off energy in this team. That's why everyone's yelling heaps, trying to get into the enemy's heads. As soon as someone makes a play, you know, everyone's back in the game no matter what. Like, you could have thrown 4 rounds in a row, but as soon as someone does something big, you're back in, you don't care anymore. So it was a really big round.
Well, we saw sort of an opposite situation on Inferno where you nearly had the game. It was 14-6. So talk about what started to happen on that T side.
I think comms started to break down. Everyone got really nervous as we were really close to closing it out. People stopped like knowing what our protocols were going onto sites and stuff like that. But we took a couple tacks and tried to chill everyone out and get everyone's head back into the game.
Well, I know you were talking about stickers, but if you want to get there, of course, you need to take down your next opponent. It's going to be Tai Lu. So what are your biggest takeaways from today's series, and what can you bring into tomorrow's match?
I think we just need to make sure our nerves are calm going into it, make sure everyone's warmed up and ready to go and reset for tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, sounds fantastic. Congratulations again on that really close victory. Back to you.